This seems like such an unlikely place for a house of God.
The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in temples built by hands.
Hanumantha lives in our garage. We're responsible for paying his meager salary each month. He's responsible for looking after the house and doing short errands and whatnot. He was not very happy a lot of the time. There seemed to be just something missing in his life. Hanumantha was a hardcore Hindu. Hinduism is the predominant religion in India. It has a wide range of gods that the Hindus worship. And we noticed Hanumantha in the garage had a whole shelf with these Hindu gods. When we'd go out in the morning, we could smell the sandalwood incense, and then we would see him emerge with the red dot on his forehead that signified that he had done his puja, that he had done his morning worship. We prayed about this situation and hoped that someday we might see a change in Hanumantha. One day as I was leaving, I noticed Hanumantha was sitting over on the steps reading. It turned out that he had asked my neighbor for a Bible, and he just began to voraciously read. Every day when I came by, he would be reading. It was during this time that my neighbor asked another friend of ours to start training him and to start discipling him.
Well, one day, one American friend of mine, he asked me to share gospel to one Hanumantha, and I told him about Jesus, the new life. He didn't know that we can become children of God. He was so happy that Jesus died for him and he shed his blood for the remission of sin, and immediately accepted Jesus. Then I told him we'll train him more. So I went over to his house, and he had invited 2 of his friends, and we started the first church. I shared about gospel. The other 2 were so excited, they accepted Jesus. Where we met, there were plenty of Hindu idols, deities all around the garage. So I told them that we are the temple of the living God. They thought God lived in those temples. And when I went and met them the next Tuesday, I saw that all the places where the idols the previous week, they were all replaced. So I was really moved because they wanted to do what the Lord wanted them to do. They said, our lives are changed. We want to get into the water of baptism.
More men started coming, and more men started accepting Jesus as their Lord and Savior. They're not learning about church, they are church. They're learning firsthand that it doesn't take a building to start a church, so they have gone into their own homes and begun to start churches.
All these things are happening because many are praying for this country.
Prayer changes lives. This is witnessed by the fact that these nationals are some of the most fervent prayers that I've ever seen, and incredible things are happening in their life.
Everybody is hungering for the living God, and when they come to the living God, there's no going back.
Hanumantha started a church in our garage. Even if we had wanted a house of prayer to start in our garage, it probably would have never started. That it had to be a hand of God.
Through your prayers and your offerings for international missions, God is doing incredible things, even in the most unlikely of places.